Hi, my name is Sam and I'm a financial advisor who is trying to dispel a myth. It really does make little difference whether you are worth £500 or £5 million. Financial advice is for anybody looking to intentionally influence their financial futures. Think of it a little bit like this. Most people wouldn't contemplate getting into their car and starting a trip without a route or destination in mind. However, the same considerations aren't always taken for charting our financial course. If we don't have a plan or know the choices or routes available to us, then we often have no idea what the future holds. However, the future will arrive whether we adequately prepare for it or not. So the question is, what kind of future do we want for ourselves and the people in our life that matter most to us? My business is 17.Nov.21 Financial Management, and I provide a personalised financial coaching service, so to speak. It always centres around the client's goals. I ask clients what they want to achieve, how important that is to them, and what they have at their disposal to achieve those things right now. Then it's about strategising how to achieve those things and exploring the options available to plug those gaps, or whether people just want to leave it to chance. I look at protecting clients against the financial risk to their families or their businesses if they were to become unwell or the worst was to happen. Protection should always be the foundation of all financial planning. I look at savings and investments. Investments in cash often have a misconception about them. People think that investments are only for the very wealthy and are risky, and cash is always safe, which isn't necessarily the case. Cash is a bit like walking. It's free, you get fresh air, but you don't go very far. So most people invest in a car. It costs a bit more, but you go a lot further. And that's exactly what investment is, making you and your money grow and go further. I also look at retirement planning, which ranges from finding people's missing pensions from previous employment to consolidating those, to helping people understand the options available to them at retirement. All of the above I look at from the view that we have a finite number of resources and time, so I want to make sure that the very best planning is in place, which really means you're going to make the most out of your money. Every year I conduct reviews for my clients, a little bit like you taking your car to the garage, to an expert, to have it serviced and MOT. I'm like my client's financial mechanic. My ultimate goal is to provide people with choices so they can really have confidence in their decisions and they can have confidence in their planning. I haven't always worked in finance. I actually used to work in the fashion industry. It was something I'd always wanted to do since being a child, and I had a fab time working there. I travelled abroad to visit suppliers or international stores. I learnt a lot, I got some free clothes, which is never a bad thing, and I met some amazing people who helped and encouraged me to make the change that I did into financial services. I chose to move to financial services for a variety of reasons, from the opportunity to become self-employed to having a better work-life balance. But mainly, everything I do is because I've seen the consequences in my previous roles of people not knowing where to turn to or having a financial cushion, especially after events such as redundancies or divorce or bereavement. And in the past year, the importance of taking accountability of our financial futures couldn't be clearer. By failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail. Everything else that I really enjoy about my job is that every day is different. I don't really have a typical working day. One thing is for sure though, every day starts with me at my desk going through emails with a very large cup of coffee. After that, it depends really. It can range from me sitting at my desk all day to being out on the road, visiting new clients, visiting existing clients, and every client is different. Everyone's goals are different, which is why we don't take a one-shoe-fits-all approach. I help people put plans in place that are personal to them and their goals. I think being a woman in certain sectors that are dominated by men or are even expected to be completed by men come with various obstacles. When I started my training in financial services, I was one of only a couple of women. Everyone else was men, which can be daunting, but I think it's important to remember your skills and ability that got you to that point. Unfortunately, I think it will take time for those obstacles to be eradicated. However, I think the most important thing for us is to not let those obstacles stop us, which is why I think Ambitious Women Wednesdays is so important. I'm lucky to be affiliated with an organisation that is doing something to increase the inclusivity of women. I think the bigger change needs to come from the world as a whole. Young girls shouldn't be pigeonholed into certain roles, which is something I'm working on at the moment with various schools. And then one of my other goals with businesses is going into those businesses to talk to all staff, but in turn, helping women understand the additional financial risks that they're exposed to during their working lives. Whether that's that a house could typically cost us a higher percentage of our salary than a man, that having a 5-year career break to raise a child could mean on average that you earn 42% less when you return to work. These are all things that can be planned for, so why not start now? This is why I strive to make finance more inclusive to women. I like to think I've faced and overcome a lot of obstacles that I've encountered, like thinking I couldn't go into financial services because I thought I would be perceived as not knowing as much as a man or too young. And don't get me wrong, I still come across people who clearly have that opinion of me when they first meet me. But what I think is so important is not viewing ambition as a negative thing and having the confidence to stand up for your right to be in a certain position, to own that role and to show people that it doesn't matter what your age is, your gender, your race. If you want something personally or professionally, go out there and get it. And don't let anybody make you feel like you can't achieve what you want to achieve. Thank you to Essex County Council for giving me the opportunity to share my story with you. My name is Sam from Davies Financial Management.